have received reports of sporadic floods, landslides and inundation with massive downpour in places across the country in the past 24 hours. The Meteorological Division has also urged settlements near riverbanks to adopt a caution for potential floods and landslides. Meanwhile, there has been reports of more flooding on the Milamchi River as some 100 houses there are facing the risk of inundation. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Nepal reports 30 COVID-19 deaths in the past 24 hours. Infection rate still alarmingly high, lifting restrictions on marriage celebrations likely to aggravate coronavirus scenario. Nepali Congress chief Deuba alleges President Bhandari of assuming the role of a party cadre. Leader Nepal says he won't back out from the alliance at any cost. Sydney announces a 2-week lockdown after a rise in number of coronavirus cases, with over 80 cases of the highly infectious Delta variant confirmed. And Italy progressed to Euro 2020 quarterfinal with a hard-fought win over Austria. Denmark progressed with a thumping 4-0 victory over Wales. Nepal reported 30 COVID-19 deaths yesterday, taking the COVID-19 death tally to 8,975. The death rate now stands at 1.5%. Meanwhile, the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country has crossed 632,000 as 1,174 more individuals tested positive for the virus. According to the Health Ministry, 4,704 tests through the PCR method were carried out, while the infection rate in the country now stands at 17.26%. Meanwhile, 5,455 individuals registered full recovery, taking the recovery tally to over 576,000, while the recovery rate stands at 91.9%. Based on the Health Ministry's report, currently there are 42,024 active cases, out of which 39,199 are in home isolation, 734 in intensive care units and 222 on ventilator support. Nepali Congress chief Sher Bahadur Deuba has alleged President Bidya Devi Bhandari of assuming a role of a party cadre. Speaking at a press conference hosted by the 5-party opposition alliance at the Parliament building yesterday, Congress chief Deuba said that the president refrained from paving way for the new government despite the claim by the opposition alliance of majority support from the lawmakers, citing that the opposition alliance was forced to move the court against the anti-constitutional moves of the Prime Minister and the President, and that the court would deliver justice. Likewise, Chairman of Mao's Centre Pushpa Kamal Dahal viewed that all the political parties need to come together to thwart the anti-constitutional activities of the Premier. Meanwhile, senior leader Madhav Kumar Nepal claimed that he received premiership office but would not betray the alliance. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli in recent days has started spitting venom against the Supreme Court as the top court hindered the Prime Minister from taking decisions at his will. The Premier went on to make a controversial comment that the Apex Court gave a decision that was guided by setting. The legal practitioners view that the opinions of the executive head against a judiciary cannot be taken lightly. More in this report. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli last Friday, during a meeting at his official residence in Balwatar, publicly charged the Supreme Court, citing that the verdict was what he said, guided by the setting. The Supreme Court on 22nd of June last week had annulled the government decision of expanding the cabinet twice after the dissolution of the lower house. The Supreme Court in its verdict had cited that the caretaker government was not entitled to expand the cabinet. Meanwhile, in his controversial statement, Prime Minister Oli has not clarified how the said setting had materialized. The legal practitioners have meanwhile termed the Prime Minister's comment lacking valid ground as highly irresponsible. The Supreme Court has been trying to rectify the anti-constitutional steps taken by Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. Earlier, the Apex Court had also stayed the government decision of dissolving the House of Representatives on 20th of December last year. The Supreme Court has come in the way of a series of decisions taken by Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. The citizenship ordinance, decision on excavating sand quarries for exporting were all stayed by the apex court, while the Prime Minister invited more criticism by appointing non-lawmakers of federal parliament as ministers at the centre. With situations not under his favour in recent time, the Prime Minister has not minced words while launching a verbal attack at the Supreme Court. The case of dissolution of the lower house for the second time on 22nd of May last month is currently being heard by the Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court. The issue of the Prime Minister's appointment reached the court as the President has been charged of failing to take a neutral stand on the entire episode. The monsoon rains have inundated various parts of the country. People are urged to remain vigilant considering the rise in water levels on various rivers. More in this report.
Different places in the country received moderate to low rainfall in the past 24 hours. The rain in the southern part of the country is triggered by the low-pressure monsoon winds. The incessant rainfall has inundated over 100 hectares of arable land in the bordering region of Kapilvastu district. India's Mahali Sagar and Bajahas Sagar Dam has submerged the cultivable lands and crops in Bhagwanpur, Kachari Hawa and Loharauli. The Indravati River in Sindhupalchok has been flooded again due to the incessant rainfall. The flood has swept away one house in Milamchi Bazar, while according to police, around 100 houses are facing the risk of inundation. The district administration has urged the people living nearby riverbanks to remain alert against possible flooding amid the rise in water levels. People living near the riverbanks of Kankai, Koshi, Kamala and Bagmati rivers, along with its tributaries, are urged to adopt precautions due to the rise in water flow. Likewise, the settlements near the banks of Narayani, Karnali, Mahakali and their tributaries are also facing risk of inundation.
In our Public Voice segment, we had asked ophthalmologist or eye specialist in Bhairahawa what should be done to keep our eyes healthy. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
बालबालिकाहरूको हकमा हो भने भिटामिन ए युक्त खानाहरू पौष्टिक आहारहरूको पनि जरुरी रहन्छ र सँगसँगै हामीले अब वयस्क उमेरमा आइसकेपछि 40 वर्ष आइसकेपछि नजिकको दृष्टि कम हुन थाल्छ जसलाई हामी 40 अथवा प्रेस बायोपिया भन्छौं चस्माको आवश्यक पर्छ
कुनै पनि चोटपटकहरुबाट बच्नको लागि ध्यान दिनु पर्यो अब आफ्नो काम के छ त्यही हिसाबले अब कोही चाहिँ वेल्डिङहरु गर्ने हुन्छन् अब फ्याक्ट्री वर्करहरु त्यो सबैले चाहिँ आँखाबाट चोटपटक लाग्न बचाउन त प्रोटेक्टिभ शिल्डहरु हैन ग्लासेसहरु लाउन सकिन्छ
धेरै मोबाइलहरु हेर्दा यताउता गर्दाखेरि हामीले कन्टिन्युस हेर्ने बानी हुन्छ बीचबीचमा आँखा बन्द गर्ने त्यसको लागि पनि रेस्टहरु चाहिन्छ
आँखा अचानक रातो हुने हैन दमिलो देखिने इन्द्रिणी जस्तो देखिने भएकोमा तुरुन्तै आउनुपर्छ त्यसमा दृष्टि नसा प्राय ड्यामेज भइरा हुन्छ
आँखा सफा गर्ने भनेर भित्र आँखामा पर्ने गरी पानीले धुने बानी हुन्छ के त्यो चाहिँ हामीले गर्नु पर्दैन हाम्रो भित्र आँसुले नै त्यो सफा गर्छ के यदि हामीले त्यसरी सफा गर्न थाल्यौं भने चाहिँ झन् आँखा सुक्खा हुँदै जाने त्यतातिर हुन्छ
Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. Here's the question: why is the policy of minimizing foreign dependency on fuel not successful? Your options are A, announce and forget, B, impractical policy, and C, results will deliver slowly. The voting is on. Type NAWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good day.